All right, welcome back. We are at block number 4, and today we are talking about this idea of how to get normal people to come to church. I'm going to give you 3 very simple things. 2 of them are kind of review, 1 of them is brand new. Here we go.
Welcome to the Better Sundays podcast. Focused, practical, and usable advice for church leaders looking to reach new young families and impact their community.
Here we go. The idea here of reaching people and bringing them to church is absolutely one of the most important things we do. It's part of the gospel. Go into all the world, okay? Go and bring them in. You know, that's what we don't need to talk too much about that. But the idea is, as we mentioned in block number 3, and you go back and listen to that a need was met. In other words, when they came, they're going to come back to church because they got what they needed. A solution was found. Every Sunday, solve a problem. We have a little puzzle thing that we have around here. I should have probably brought one, but it's a kind of a puzzle of the community, and it's a puzzle piece, a 2-piece puzzle, like the community, and it has the local church, and the local church plugs into the community. We solve problems for the community. We solve problems that the public school can't solve. We solve problems that Walmart can't solve. We solve problems that the courthouse can't solve. We solve problems that the library can't solve. The most important building in the entire community is the local church, the Bible-believing, Bible-preaching local church. You and I are it. We are the problem solvers, and people will come back if you have solved a problem. The second thing here, and it's kind of a review here too, is if an interest was created. In other words, you got them kind of going the right direction. And I talked in block number 2 about being the pathway, being the conduit, being the trail that they are headed down. And this is the idea that people are trying to figure things out. There's a statement or kind of a word that's been used and probably abused, and it's the idea of a seeker. And there are many people that are trying to figure out life. Okay, now you can debate whether people seek for God before God calls them and all that theological stuff, but I can tell you, out there in the world, there's people trying to figure it out. We have a person, a man and husband and wife, been coming to our church for the last couple of weeks. They're like, we have no idea about anything spiritual. We just know we need something new. And this is very exciting. We've been kind of giving them the gospel, and they are truly seekers. There are many, many people who are trying to figure things out in life. I was one of them. I was raised a Lutheran. Kind of heard a lot of sort of religious-y kind of stuff, did the catechism kind of stuff, but I was trying to figure out peace with God and peace in my heart. And I saw other people had some stuff that I didn't have. I was seeking. So this idea is, number 1, a need is met, and number 2, the interest is created, and people get on that pathway. So solve the problem, be a problem-solving church, and number 2, be at least a pathway where you say, hey, we're going to be doing this. Now, if you're going to be a pathway and an interest creator, okay, one of the things that is absolutely essential in this day and age is people want to know what you are teaching on in the future. And I know some pastors, they don't get their sermon till Saturday night super late, and they put it all together and preach a great sermon. If you are that guy, all right, that does that, good for you, glad you make it, but you're missing something that other people who are prepared weeks and weeks ahead of time and have, a series figured out, there's something you don't have that they do have, and something that you could use and will help you, and that is advance letting people know what you are speaking on. Next week, I'm going to be covering how to find forgiveness for somebody that has hurt you and that person is extremely close to you. And we're going to talk about a story in the Bible where someone hurt somebody and they were extremely close, but that person learned to forgive them. So come next week. Okay, that's all you need to say. Now, you can write all that sermon Saturday night if you want, but get that promotion out. Get that stuff out in print so at least people know 2, 3, 4 weeks ahead of time what you're doing. One of the things we always did here at Sinclair Baptist Church when I was a pastor is at the bottom of the page, I always had a little when we had handouts, I always have a little thing. Next week, join us as we deal with how to blank, 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 whatever it happened to be. And we would talk about that, and I would always mention it. So don't forget, next week we're going to be covering this. People need that. If you're going to be a pathway, okay, not just a solution, but a pathway to the solution as well. You need to let people know what is down the head, okay? If you were to go hiking out here in the beautiful Wyoming area, I can tell you it's absolutely spectacular. You can go hike. But if you have ever had an opportunity to hike when it has been very rainy or very cloudy or very foggy, and you can only see 50 feet down the trail, you know what? It's not that good of a hike, okay? It may not even be raining, but if it's foggy and you don't get to see the mountains, it is no fun at all. A couple of years ago, I got invited to go to the top of one of our big mountains that's kind of a closed area. You can't get to it. And I got to go up and help a guy work on an antenna. Unfortunately, it was when we had all the forest fires. We got to the top of the mountain, and you could look down about 100 feet, and all you could see was smoke forever and ever and ever. And it was like, well, it was kind of fun to say I went up there, but I didn't get to see anything. People need to see what's going on. Point number 3, here we go. This is the last one, and this is that a recommendation was heard. This is where they have not only you a solution, not only a pathway solution, but somebody else said, hey, this church helped me out. This church had a solution for me. This church met my need. This church helped my children. This church helped my niece and nephew. Okay, you need to get recommendations. I will put a link on here on how to get online recommendations. That's extremely important, but recommendations need to be heard. This is the idea of what we call, it's in the social world, it's called social proof. It's the idea of there's a lot of like buttons, there's a lot of thumbs up buttons, okay? And by the way, hit a thumbs up for me. I appreciate that. Just go click on it right now, and that gives you that social proof. Hey, that's a good video. That's a good thing. It has 1,000 views. It has 1,000 views, whatever. You know, you go by a restaurant and you see all sorts of cars parked out front. It's like, whoa, something going on. We had a new restaurant open in town the other day, and I drove by, and man, there's cars all over the place. It's like, I might have to go check it out. You know, there are a lot of people out there. This is the idea of people, the social proof, people inviting other people, online reviews, you know, all to get all that. I will put a link in here, but you need to have that type of thing going on. We have testimonies that we have gathered from people that have come to our church and really enjoyed it, and we've had them do online reviews for us, and then we have published those online reviews, and you can put those in your bulletin. I really enjoyed this church. It helped my family a whole bunch. You can print that take a little snapshot of it off your screen, put it in your bulletin. But online reviews and recommendations by other people. This is why you need to, as I mentioned, let people know what you are, what's coming up next, so your people can invite them and they can recommend, hey, you need to come to my church next week because my pastor is speaking on how to have financial freedom. And I know you and I were talking about that the other day. You might really enjoy this. You see what I'm saying? That's a recommendation from somebody, but it stemmed off the fact that you advanced somebody and created an interest. So all of these things, these 4 blocks, are how to get normal people to come to church. I hope this has been helpful for you. If it has, I do ask you to give us a thumbs up and go back and watch all the rest of them. All of them are right there, kind of linked in a row. I'll put the links in the bottom here so you can get to all the other ones. But if this has been helpful for you, share this with another pastor. Share this YouTube. You can go on YouTube, you can go down and click the little button that says share there. And when you do that, set it on Facebook, you can do it on LinkedIn, Twitter, all that kind of stuff. You can also just hit the copy and paste it and send it an email to somebody. And that would be helpful for me. And of course, it's going to be helpful for you because you're going to be known as a person who gives out good resources. So thank you so much for joining us for all 4 blocks of this. If you haven't caught them all, go back and catch them all. This is how to get normal people to come to church, or really how to get them to come to church and come to church and come to church again and again and again and again, because that is how we reach the world. We multiply. We get them in and we disciple them and we keep winning them, and they bring their friends and they keep bringing their friends, and we reach our world. So thanks for joining us again. I'm Mike from Sinclair Baptist Church. I'm here at the Better Sundays podcast, and this is ReachKeep.com.